What's going on, y'all? Today's video is about how Big G did bad. That's right, Big G did bad. Some of y'all might be wondering who the fuck is Big G? His channel goes by the name of NetStars. I'm not too familiar with him, but I'm familiar enough to say what I gotta say and give my little rant and everything, right? Why I'm calling him Big G? Because in the recent videos that I saw of him, he had an intro where he introduced himself as Big G. And I like to call people by the names that they put forth. I know his channel's called NetStars, but he calls himself Big G. Rest in peace to Styles of Nutward. A lot of people called him Nutward. That was his company's name, his brand name. His name was Styles. So I like to give that respect. And that's the beginning and the end of the respect that I'm going to be conveying for Big G. I'm going to try my hardest not to convey any disrespect, but I'm going to at least be respectful and call him by the name that he puts forth, Overly Big G, right? So why am I doing this video about Overly Big G? Big G did bad. You did bad. And I've been doing my little, listening while I'm out. I'm hearing stuff and I'm getting heated and I'm hearing more. And I see nobody really breaking this shit down for what the fuck it really is. So I'm here to break it down. This is something I usually don't do because I don't got anything to do with this. But this involves a homeless woman that is having some issues and somebody that's coming under the guise of trying to help. I'm trying to help. So we're going to break it down a little bit. We ain't going to go through too much backstory. This is for anybody that's been fairly in tune. If you know the story, you know, and you're going to know what I'm talking about, right? So anyway, Big G, shout out to Candy Grand Prix. Big G pulls up to Candy Grand Prix, under the auspice that he's trying to help her because he heard she's homeless. He heard that she needs help, even though I'm on the outside looking in, from my vantage point, he's been aware of her being homeless and in need of some help for quite some time now, amongst, whatever their circle is and everything. So even that I found strange off the rip. I heard you needed help. Candy Grand Prix, as she put it, copped an Amtrak program type of ticket for I think about $500, where she could tour 10 different states of the United States, and she decided to get away, move around a bit, get her head right, get her, get to the good writing that she does and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? She needed time to breathe and do her, so that's why she was around. So in one of them states, Seattle, that happens to be where Overly Big G is, right? And I know y'all can't see totally what it says in the background, but this was kind of the last straw. This and something else. In the back, this shit says, I made Candy leave Seattle. He ran her out of town. Disgusting behavior. But let's break it down. Let me go through the timeline again. So he pulls up to Candy, live streaming. That's an important detail. Live streaming himself, pulling up to Candy, talking about that he wants to help her. He got food for her. He's asking her what her hotel situation is and stuff like that. Does she need a room? Off the rip, as I'm watching, I'm thinking, all right, he's probably gonna, drop some decent bread where she could at least have a place to rest her head for the night, right? Anybody that's been tapping into Candy, she's someone else that I'm new to tapping in. But if you've tapped into her, you could tell that I don't want to say, I'll just say that it's obvious that she has some issues going on. You know what I'm saying? Um, where she's not trusting of a lot of things and of a lot of people in the environment. And that's another thing that makes this so foul, because what Big G did not help in any way with what Candy has going on and her mistrust of basically the reality around her. You know what I'm saying? Because in some of these situations, like in this situation, I personally think she was on the money to be mistrustful of what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, he's asking about hotels. You would think, all right, it's probably going to drop a little bit of bread on her. I mean, she does have a Cash App jump off. You could easily just hit the Cash App. That's another thing. I'm watching the exchange because Big G was live streaming Candy was live streaming. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing all this in like the past day or two. You know what I'm saying? But this happened like 3-4 days ago. And I tapped into both of their joints. From Candy's live stream, you see her with the camera on Big G. Big G's live stream, you see him with the camera on Candy. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, you got this woman that's homeless, that's in the street, trying to put together her tools and fuse so she could rest her head, and you roll up on her under the auspice of like, yo, I'm trying to help, and immediately you got the camera just in her face, right? Foul out number one. You know what I mean? So her reaction was that of mistrust. She said, "Get up out of here." You know what I mean? You're with them people. You're with the Satan or whatever, the people that she's very mistrustful of, right? Off the rip, she let this man know that she is was very uncomfortable with his presence, with him being right there within a few feet away from her, pointing a fucking camera in her face. She's already in the street homeless, and now, her tension is building up more than what it already was, her anxieties and all of that. And she's telling this man, you're supposed to be a man, a grown man, an older grown man. I'm sure you're decently older than much of the community that you do your live streams and that you flop your ass around in, right? Practically an elder. And you have a homeless black woman telling you like, yo, she's very uncomfortable. Can you please leave? Big G did not leave. He stayed there. Trying to talk back to what she's saying. Oh, you're a Satanist. I'm not a Satanist. I'm no one else here. Do you see me? Anyone else around? He did a little twirl. Well, it's kind of like a waddling twirl, waddled his big ass around a couple times. Do you see anybody over around here? I'm by myself. I'm trying, B, but it's hard. It's hard to, be not disrespectful. So bear with me. And he's actually having this exchange, even though he knows what's going on. He knows what the canvas of this painting is with this woman already, as far as the stuff that she's going through, where she's at in the head, and where she's at with her trust with everything. He obviously definitely knows of her homeless situation. He definitely knows that she's in need of help. So you don't even got to ask, straight like that. And then dude starts talking about, well, I got some food for you. I'm gonna give you some money, this and that. She's very mistrustful. She just wants this man to get out of there. It was very heartbreaking when I hear the woman Candy, and as she's talking, she's tripping over her words. You could tell some people are trying to say she be acting and all of that. This was genuine. I don't know what's going on with her, act or not in some cases. That's, I can't say anything with certainty, but I can say that she was genuinely shook up. She was tripping over her words. She was stuttering because, believe it or not, this young lady Candy is quite an intelligent woman. That I have peeped. That I have been able to peep. All right, she's going through a situation and everything, but she speaks better than 99% of you motherfuckers that be on this thing. She writes better, just in her casual typings. The fact that she's a writer herself, I'm actually interested in, I hope she has something posted so I could check out her work. But at baseline, she's quite the intelligent woman. I don't really know much about her background, but, I'm able to see certain things, right? So she's tripping over her words. She's stuttering. She's visibly, as you could see in the fear lines in her face, as her head, her eyebrows start to crunch up, crumble up and stuff like that, upward. And she's telling this man, look, you're making me very uncomfortable. Please leave. She said it over and over again. And this man would not leave. You know why this man would not leave? Why you wouldn't leave, Big G? Because you were out to make a production. Your whole purpose of coming there, we're going to get to the evidence of this. Your whole purpose of coming out there was to make a big YouTube production. And whatever you were going to pay to help her out was an investment more than it was a genuine and sincere trying to help a homeless woman that's out in the street that you happen to be within vicinity of, right? So at one point, he does leave after a good, I think I counted the minutes. He stayed for a good, I think, 15, 20 minutes. And then he leaves, presumably to go to his car to get the food that he told her that he'll have for her. And then a couple minutes later, he comes back, spins back around, waddles back around, more like it, right? Waddles his big fat ass back around to her, in her face again, building her anxiety up even more, having her way off point. She's out there, she's on her live stream trying to do what she do, get up her money for whatever the fuck she needs her money for. And here go this big ass nigga that she already, and this is a woman now, a woman already told a man that he's making her very uncomfortable. He's coming off with the auspice like, yo, I'm trying to help. I heard you need help. I found out you needed help like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I've seen you on here homeless for a while and asking for money and spending nights in the street. But, I didn't know you needed help until like 20 minutes ago. So, I heard you were in town. So I just happened to randomly show up because I'm celebrating the Super Bowl and all this and that. And all this bullshit. Again, keep in mind, all this time he's spending disturbing this woman. I'm thinking, all right, at least 100. You know what I mean? See what he's gonna have for $100 and maybe some food. Maybe 300. Like Shorty, she was like thinking at least 300. He'll have for her or something like that, especially when he's asking her about her hotel situation and all this. So he's still bothering her, harassing her at this point. He calls her girl. She said, don't call me girl. He continues to call this woman girl, right? And he has the nerve to get offended by the things that she was saying back to him, calling him a perp or a Satanist or a gang stalker, or saying he's part of a cult and part of a grouping of other people, Sticky, whoever the fuck that is, and all these other people that's out to get her. When it's obvious that you should already know that to whatever degree, no disrespect to her, something in the world is greatly disturbing her. And that's how she interfaces with the world due to the disturbance that's being put upon her. Whether you want to call it crazy, I'm not going to call it that. Whether you want to call it some medicated condition they have out here like schizophrenia, whatever it is, it's something. A car will roll by and she'll notice something she doesn't like and talk about that car and say that car is part of a perp or a gang stalker, things like that. But the guy already knows this. So it's kind of like, how do you get offended when you already know what type of time she's on? And this guy has the nerve to get offended by that and try to actually defend himself to this woman that's in the street. Like that part, I really don't get. I've seen a few other people talking about her attitude toward those that donate to her and everything. Who gives a fuck about what her attitude is? Because when you genuinely want to help somebody and they're in a condition like this, you don't give a fuck. You write that off, whatever their attitude is towards you, you don't personalize it. You say to yourself, well, shit, look at her conditions. She's living a rough existence at this current time, due to the homeless situation, whatever, out in the cold, whatever it may be. So you know what? I'm detaching my, of any bit of me possibly getting offended by this because I sincerely care about her condition. So there's nothing that she could say to me that's going to offend me. As long as I can accomplish the mission of helping making her day or her night, next day, whatever, a little bit better or a lot better if I can than it was prior to me reaching out for that. See, that's the heart. That's the sincerity of somebody that's trying to help. So that's a big cue right there when she says you're a part of a satanic cult and you have the nerve to get offended by that and this and that. And I got to give her props because whatever she saw, he being a demon, she might have her own way of translating things. The thing is, she knew that guy was bad. And I have to agree with her in that, just by the way that he behaved during the situation and after, right? So I think he dips off for like a second, and then he comes back again. In total, I think he was just maybe 10 minutes short of an hour harassing this woman. And then I think he says, all right, I'm going to send you money on Cash App. Something that he could have done from jump, from the comfort of his big stomach ass crib where he's sitting down and he. Let me not do that. He could have did that from the crib. He already knew a Cash App. What's your Cash App? So according to him, he says, all right, I'm going to send you something on Cash App. He finally dips. And then after a couple minutes, you could finally see that crunched up thing start to go down a little bit. You could see her eyes start to gain a little bit more focus, because she does have a certain focus and an intent. This is why I could tell she's intelligent, right? Or one of the reasons why. She starts to calm down a bit and get, because he greatly disturbed her, obviously. Threw her off. It was heartbreaking. She finally calms down some. Someone in her chat room asks, did he send you any money? She said, yeah. $20. $20 fucking dollars for that huge spectacle, for having this woman endure this significant, great discomfort while she's thousands of miles away from her native home, just trying to make her tools and fuse and do her thing. I don't give a fuck if she's cursing people out in the interim of it. I don't give a fuck if she got a secret hotel somewhere. I don't give, you know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck if her bags are really in the hotel? This nigga had the nerve to say, oh, she could be in the Windsor somewhere or the Luxor or one of them shits. Nobody that's living on a level of opulence is going to be pulling a scam maneuver where they spend hours a day faking like they're homeless and cold in the streets. Now, let's say she did have a hotel tucked somewhere, some regular shit or some cheap shit, but it's obvious that she's still homeless. Power to her. Good. Matter of fact, I hope that's the case. I hope she has a place to rest her head more often than she's putting on. Because the fact is, she's obviously still in a situation. So I'd say salute to that. That shouldn't change a motherfucking thing. The woman is still going through something. And it only takes a fucking devil to try to present themselves under the guise of trying to help. And all they got to offer is $20. After putting this woman nearly through an hour of great discomfort. It was disgusting. It was highly disturbing. And then shit like this. This is the after effect. These are things that further reinforce the fact that this man wasn't trying to help her out with $20. He was trying to make a $20 investment so he could pop off for a few days on YouTube. Maybe get donations himself, maybe get enough views. I don't know if he's monetized or not, but if so, ad revenue come in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I put 20 in, I'll yield back maybe 300 or something like that. That's all this was. And now people will notice me. Because you know what? When I saw that thing that says his name is Big G, it was very, and I hate the term, but it was very clout chasey. Hey, like, subscribe, I'm Big G. This is what I do. All this fancy flashing, and it's obvious that the whole thing is just ever so obvious that this was just a ploy to get recognition. A cheap ploy at that. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself, Big G. Greatly ashamed of yourself, putting this woman through that. And like I said, I don't even know all the details. If there's some little shadiness going on or whatever, again, fuck it. Power to her, because at the base level, she's still in the street. I don't think it's anyone that's intelligent could see that the rules can't go but so far. Some things are just like, yo, it's obvious. $20 fucking dollars. And shout out to you, Candy Grand Prix, because she said, you know what, I'm probably going to send that shit back. I don't want that type of money. I don't want no devil's money. This is where the intellect comes in. All right, she may curse out a nigga with a car with the lights on too bright, this, that, third nigga walk by, oh, you're a perp, all that. But certain things you could just, you know what I mean? That means maybe her senses are so keen that she's seeing too much and it's overwhelming her situation. You know what I'm saying? But she was right on the money with this motherfucker right here. So shout out to her if she did send that motherfucking shit back. And the dude even said while he was there, after he got offended, his frail little pussy ass heart got so offended that he said, well, you know, you could just give it back. If you don't want it, you could give it back. I mean, me and Shorty, we were watching this, we were both like fuming. It's disgusting. And the shit that prompted me to make the video is I'm out, I'm listening to the aftermath. He's got a video up with a thumbnail, an AI cartoon generated thumbnail of him and her sitting down eating dinner together, which might even suggest some more other shit, some other motives that might have been going on, right? And then he has another one with this thumbnail. I made Candy leave Seattle, and he's talking about how he ran her out of Seattle. You know why? Because he let a homeless, a poor little but very bright homeless woman offend him so much that now he's compelled to strike back at her, at a woman that doesn't even have a place to stay, sitting on his fat ass, striking back at a woman that's homeless. Why? Because she rejected him, or because she saw him for what he is and for what he really does have to offer. And the funny thing is, remember when I said she was doing a live stream, had the camera pointed at him? He's doing a live stream, has the camera pointed at her. Isn't it interesting that for a homeless woman, her hair is still well kept up? She's doing a live stream, speaking about how she needs to shower. She's often talking about her hygiene. You can tell that's important to her. She's very open about what the situation is when the hygiene can't be kept up. Hey, that's her. But she's very conscious about that. I need somewhere to do my laundry. I need to take a shower. I need this. I need that. You could tell by her, the way that she maintains herself for a situation. It's commendable. And that's what we saw when he had the camera pointed at her. But when Candy had the camera pointed at Big G, we see something totally different. Yo, dude, dogs. It's a shame that for a woman that's been out in the street homeless, she takes care of herself like a billion times better than you do, dogs. I mean, do we really got to get into it? Anybody that hasn't seen it, just watch the video, look the shit up or whatever. And this is where I'm trying to hold back the disrespect. I know I kind of let loose and let shit be known, but all you got to do is watch it and you'll easily see what I'm talking about. And this is a nigga that allegedly has somewhere to stay. So anyway, the shit that compelled me to want to do this video is I'm watching some other shit with this fat ass nigga. And he's, I guess it's later that night or whatever, he got a bag, right? He's pulling out some Moroccan sandwich, like some shit from a local 7-Eleven-ish type place. Pulls out this big sandwich in a plastic wrapping. Pulls out like another sandwich or sandwichy type of thing, right? Starts pulling out food. Pulls out, as he said, I also got some pastry for her. So he's showing all this food that he allegedly intended to give her that night. See, I was going to give her this. Look, it's Moroccan. I was going to give her a Moroccan sandwich. I was going to give her this. I was going to give her this pastry. He's pulling all these different food, dinner and dessert out of a bag. But why the fuck didn't you give it to her when you were there? Now, that's the shit that had me like super heated. So you highly upset this woman for $20. So you could pop on YouTube. You make an investment of $20 and you sacrifice this woman, kind of like a ritualistic sacrifice. You sacrifice this woman and her comfort and her well-being for $20. So you could yield some type of return, be it props on YouTube, money, or both. You tell her you have food for her. Okay, she rejects you, but you could have still gave her the food. All right, this is how this shit should have went, right? If anyone is really genuine. All right, let's say for whatever reason you didn't do it on the Cash App. You just had to give it to her in person. Maybe you want her to feel your genuine energy. Who knows? There could be reasons why you would want to do that in person. All right, right? For a genuine person, not for this motherfucker. You come out the car. You got the food bag of food in hand. Hey, Candy, how you doing? Do you know me? Whatever, whatever, little intro. She's like, no, get away from me. Get away from me. You're down with those people. I don't like you. All right, maybe one time, ma'am, I just come in peace. You know, I know you need a little help. I want to send you something on Cash App, or here's the cash. I can give it to you now. And I want to offer you, you know, treat you to some food. You in my town and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll be on the way. No, get away from me. Get away from here. You take that food, put it right next to you on the ground. You say, look, I'm going to send you something on the Cash App. Take care of yourself out here. And you dip, you get the fuck out of there. Once that woman starts tripping over her words and she's so visibly shook up and ready to cry practically, something is supposed to spark inside you where you realize, look, I'm really upsetting this woman. But no, when you're selfish and your desire to pop on YouTube and show the people that's watching, hey, everybody, there's Candy right there, and all of that, when you're a selfish piece of shit, that's going to override that humanity, basically. So, you know, just that normal human thing that anyone should do. Leave the food on the ground. You give her the option. She don't take it. Someone else picks it up. The birds eat it. Whatever. At least you tried. You do not leave and take that food back home with you just so you could further try to flex and say, hey, look at how such a good guy that I am. Look at the food that I had to give her, but she wouldn't take it. So I'm going to sit on my fat ass and gorge on this shit right now like the fucking sloth that I am. That's the shit. That and these fucking thumbnails. I made her leave Seattle. Oh, and then even there, and it was one time when he met her, he actually almost halfway tried to buck up at her. You're in my town. You're in my city. There's a big man, like small in everything except physical stature and extreme body fat. Had the nerve to tell this poor woman, literally, that's just trying to make it, that's living on the street, just because she rejected him, had the nerve to tell her, you're in my city. It's utterly disgusting. I'm disgusted. I try to just stay out of shit and just peep shit, but I couldn't help it. I was highly disgusted. This is no behavior that a man should have. This nigga did not exhibit himself like a man at all. Again, I don't know the nigga. Big G, I don't know you. I'm going to try to leave on a good note. Do fucking better with yourself, because you did bad. You did very bad. You were basically a little bitch. That's how you behaved. And anybody could see the reason why you did it, what you did it for, your selfish intention, the selfish aftermath. And then I heard this bitch have the nerve to say, because I guess other people might have done videos talking about the shit, had the nerve to say that other people are jocking or clout chasing his candy content. And he said something like, no, get your own candy content. So see, he's making a content grab out of a situation, out of a poor homeless lady that's just trying to get by and fucking survive. I'm disgusted. I'm done with this shit. Bitch, do better with your life, B.